The U.S. State Championships are going to be upon us in only a couple of days. So let's gear up! The first deck we're going to look at is the Berlin LCQ Winner, a version of Demigod deck wins. Demigod deck wins runs some of the best red creatures in Standard, from the first turn Mog Fanatic, all the way up to the namesake card on 5. It basically ruled Standard for much of the summer, and just got finishing first in the Pro Tour Berlin Last Chance qualifier. Let's check out the modifications defining this newest version. Here we are in the Magic Online deck editor once again. This time we are examining the unique elements of Guillaume Badois' version of the Demigod deck wins. First thing we see is that Guillaume plays one fewer land than most, but includes 4 G2 encampments over Standard Mountains. At the 2 he plays Stigma Lasher, Bane of Kitchen Finks. The jury's out on this one, I think. Could be Stigma Lasher, Vexing Shusher, a bunch of other cards. Guillaume plays one main deck Unwilling Recruit over the 24th land. Last, but quite notably, Guillaume has Puncture Blast in the main. Most players have Shock in this slot. We've seen Shard Volley. I personally like Lash Out, but the Berlin LCQ Winner ran Puncture Blast. This card is better against Kitchen Finks and Doran, but much more expensive than the 1 or 2 mana options. We're joining this match in Game 2, which you can tell by the guttural response I have in my hand. So we open on a G2 encampment. Some people swear by these, but personally I hate it when I rip one on turn 5 and can't play a Demigod of Revenge. Here on turn 1 we see it slows down our potential Fanatic draw as well. So turn 2 we play Stigma Lasher. This guy is absolutely great against 5-color control on the play, because he makes Kitchen Finks, usually their best man, quite terrible. So turn 2, no action on his side. Our turn 3, here comes the Stigma Lasher unblocked, and that means no Kitchen Finks shenanigans the rest of the game. So post-combat Figure of Destiny from us. We're going to pass on that, and then on his turn it's going to be land and go. End of turn, Figure goes large. Well, larger. So we untap and obviously play a land pre-combat. Here we come, 2-2 and 2-2. 3 land open on his side. There's no illusions. He's going to have something. I actually thought it was going to be Bant Charm, but it is Plume Veil, which is better and worse. Worse for him, because we take no hesitation whatsoever to put that into the graveyard with our Flame Javelin. Bam, bam, 4. Now we have good tempo, but really no surprise here. He's going to untap, play his 4th land, and the same play that's been made by blue-whitish decks since 1993 is going to occur to our poor little 2/2s, Wrath of God. So we untap and draw Puncture Blast. No really good drops here, so we're just going to armor up the G2 encampment and red zone it. We're in for 2, and then it is 20-12. So here comes the turn 5 play that I'm sure all of you are familiar with. 5-color control, untaps, starts tapping some mana, produces a Mull Drifter, picks up 2 cards. Now the destiny of this Mull Drifter is inevitably known. First strike makes for a hairy combat opponent, so the G2 encampment is going to chop the Mull Drifter in half, like Obi-Wan against Anakin in Episode 3. Then again, the Mull Drifter saved 2 points of damage, so he did his job, like Obi-Wan against Darth in Episode 4? 5-color control passes with 6 mana up. 6 mana up. Any guesses? Now we're not going to let him bluff us out, but there's also no reason to risk the G2 encampment given our hand. Yep, here comes the Cloud Thresher. Now one thing you always want to keep in mind is what's great about this problem. In this case, between the Cloud Thresher and the Mog Fanatic's ability, he's basically lightning bolted for 3. His Thresher and our Fanatic teamed up to knock him down to 9. So we're going to use the Flame Javelin while he's tapped out. Bam! 5. So pre-combat he's going to play a Kitchen Finks, but because of our Stigma Lasher on turn 2 and 3, Kitchen Finks isn't going to do anything. His only option is to race, but that Cloud Thresher is going to knock us all the way down to 11 with this attack. Stigma Lasher is relevant, we pass. So with that Kitchen Finks he has 10 power in play, but luckily we have 11 life. So he's only going to attack us with the Cloud Thresher. This is going to put him ahead in the race, at least in the short term, but we have a guttural response, meaning that the 6 points in our hand are probably going to be good. End of turn rolls around and we decide to pick a fight with that Puncture Blast. The exact thing that we want to happen starts to happen. He's tapping 4 and here comes Cryptic Command. Now, Cryptic Command is the best permission spell in Standard, but it costs a whopping 4 mana. So we're going to answer with Guttural Response, and he's at 2. Now, if he had had a negate, I'm guessing he would have used it to defend a Cryptic Command. So we're going to untap, point that Incinerate, and it's negate or no, and the answer is no. How do we say this again? Red deck wins. I'm sure almost all of you have seen the Demigod deck in action before. So what's different this time? It's not actually clear if Puncture Blast would have been better than Lash Out in the game we just saw, but it probably would have been worse than Shock. The added efficacy against Kitchen Finks wasn't necessary this time because Stigma Lasher got in there, but based on this templating, I think we can be pretty sure Guillaume respects a Kitchen Finks. Demigod is a consistent performer overall, but I think you will most want to play this kind of deck if you anticipate a lot of fairies, or comes into play tapped multi-lands. This is Mike Flores, wishing you good luck at the state championships.